Online dating, virtual hangouts, and working from home. Our lives and the way we relate to each other have become increasingly digital. But as we embrace this digital age, along with the rising capabilities of AI, an important question emerges. Can you tell the difference between a machine and a human? In this non-technical talk, I'm going to go through a recent study that tries to answer this question. And I will also discuss with you what's at stake for us as both creators and consumers of technology in this new age.
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper.
It spans the globe like a superhighway. It is called Internet.
What do you mean? That's big. How does one? What do you write to it like mail?
All it took was for a global pandemic for us to interact with each other in a fully digital way. Now, none of these technologies were a stranger to us at all. We've known about Zoom, we've known about Slack, we've been using these for years now at REA. But for many of us, perhaps, it's only in this time during a global pandemic that we've had to use these as our only means of relating to our families, our friends, and our colleagues. Now, this might be the world that we live in right now, but wait, let's rewind. Believe it or not, there was a time before the digital age, a time we related to each other in person, in the physical world. Then suddenly, people were connected by phones. It became normal for computers to be in every household. Then they were connected to each other through this thing called the World Wide Web. And from there, bit by bit, year by year, more of what it meant to be a human in this world became ever more digital. Okay, so we've entered this digital world now, there's no denying it. Pandemic or not, this trend was always set to rise. But this is not the only thing that's progressing. Artificial intelligence, AI capabilities have stepped it up big time. Wait, what's the goal of AI again? Well, 2 years ago, I presented a talk at TKO20, and I defined AI as a computer system that aimed to match or surpass human abilities. AI is absolutely in the business of imitating humans. That's the whole goal of AI. And when we look at how well AI has done at imitating us in the physical world, well, frankly, the results aren't very convincing. Just look at Sophia, the world's first humanoid citizen in the world.
I love my human compatriots. I want to embody all the best things about human beings, like taking care of the planet, being creative, and to learn how to be compassionate to all beings.
I mean, you can instantly tell she's not a real human. Yes, there's this really mechanical looking sculpt with the cogs in the back of her head, but there's also other clues, vital clues, like her facial expressions and the way her eyes look around and focus around at things in the room, the way her mouth moves as she responds. It's pretty clear that she's a machine. And here's Ada, the humanoid artist. She's very talented, and I would say it's improved. But again, she's not real. You can see it in her facial expressions, her eyes, her presence. There's just something in our brains that registers that this is not a real human. You know it's a robot. Okay, so that's how robots have gone in the physical world. They haven't done so well at imitating humans fully yet, but let's look at the digital world. For AI to imitate humans in the digital world, it's a much easier problem. In the digital world, the playing field becomes completely leveled because now we, as humans, need to interact with each other through pixels and through text and through online profiles. These are the very native languages that AI loves to speak and deal with. All of this stuff, AI is brilliant at generating. Earlier this year, in 2021, a team of researchers at University of New South Wales wanted to explore this boundary between machines and humans in the digital world. They wanted to see if ordinary people like us could spot the difference. In their experiment, they generated a bunch of fake online dating profiles for an app called OkCupid. And they surveyed a bunch of participants and asked them questions like whether they thought they were real, and whether they found them attractive, and whether they would swipe right on these profiles. Okay, let's meet one of these profiles. Here's Michael. He's 29 from Oakland, California. He's all about him on his dating app OkCupid. But right here, before your eyes, is an utterly fake dating profile, completely generated by AI. And Michael, he's not the only one. Here's Becca, 23, from Oakland, California. Again, it's a completely fake AI-generated profile. What's interesting here is that the AI is now making jokes and showing emotions in a really convincingly human way. Let's dissect these profiles a little bit more. We can see that there are two key ingredients that are needed to make these profiles. The first thing is a convincing face, a picture. And the second key ingredient is some text to bring these profiles to life. Let's look at the faces first. These faces, they're sourced from a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. And every time you hit refresh on the page, it gives you a face that was generated by a GAN network. It's a neural network architecture that's able to generate a completely artificial image following the style of an input image. Again, all these faces, they're not real. Okay, now let's look at the text. This text was generated by the GPT-2 text generating model. It's something you can download right now and run on your machines. Give it some example text, a few prompts, ask it some questions, and it'll spit out some really convincing text that follows a style of what you need it to follow. In the case of this experiment, it's been fed many samples of successful dating profiles, real life examples, and it's picked up on the patterns of what's worked and what hasn't, and it's done a great job at imitating exactly how we would present ourselves on this dating app. Okay, we've got our faces, we've got our text, and we put them together, and now we've got these fake online dating profiles that look completely real. And now we show them to a bunch of participants, and we ask them whether they would swipe right on them. I'm going to show you some graphs that show us how these participants answered. And if we look at the overall trend, we see the same pattern emerging. Just under half the participants thought these profiles looked real. And about 2/3, just under 2/3, would actually swipe right on these profiles. Let's zoom out a bit, out of the world of online dating and potential AI catfishing. This is not the only place where AI is killing it when it comes to imitating humans. Over the past couple of years, we've seen the rise of deepfakes where computer programs can swap your face for anyone else's.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit.
And the repercussions of this type of technology are enormous. Just imagine for a second there's a group out there that has lots to gain by messing around with the share market. And they might produce a set of deepfake videos of some global leaders announcing some fake economic policy or some new trade agreement between the two countries. And just for a split second, it might rally some investors around some share just for a split second, and that's enough for one group of individuals to make millions off their assets. But big deal, right? Big deal. It's just some money. Some people make more money. Some people lose a bit of money. Whatever, the world moves on. But hold on. What if these global leaders mouth something that's far more dangerous? Let's just say it's part of a coordinated campaign. They managed to gain access to the official White House Twitter account, and they released this video of the President of the United States, Joe Biden, announcing that they're going to launch a first missile strike on North Korea.
Tonight, I come to talk about crisis to declare war. North Korea's nuclear program presents serious threats to American security and the security of the world.
Just imagine the tensions had already been rising. There had been US military exercises with South Korea right next door. The North Koreans, they're on edge. And then this video pops up on the internet. It looks real, it feels real. 10 million people are watching this on their smartphones. It's gone viral instantly. And let's just say that the North Koreans, they were 50% sure that this was real. What would they do? What would you do if you were 50% sure that the country that you were leading was just about to get attacked? What if you were 80% sure? What would you do? The North Korean leaders, they might send a retaliatory strike over to Seoul, South Korea. Millions would die. There'll be so much destruction. And for what? Just some stupid fake video on the internet. Some experts suggest that by the end of this decade, that is by the end of 2030, 90% of the videos we see online will be synthetic. That means generated by some AI of some sort. But before they even reach this level of ubiquity, they are already undermining our trust today. The FBI put out this warning in March 2021. They warned it was almost certain that in the next 12 to 18 months, businesses will be targeted by malicious actors that will leverage this kind of technology. They already noticed it happening for spear phishing, for social engineering, cyber, operational tradecraft. These sorts of attacks include manipulated images and videos and audio and text. Noticeably, these are the 4 things that we use to interact with each other in the digital world. Mediums can be synthesized by AI and machine learning techniques like GAN networks that I mentioned earlier. And to be real here, it's not just businesses and politics that are under attack. It's individuals too. Smear campaigns, defamation, revenge porn. All these things can have really, really severe effects on a person's life. And in some cases, it can even end them. Okay, that was a bit heavy. You probably weren't expecting that from a tech talk. Let's take a breather. So what can we learn from all of this? We are citizens of a digital world. There's no denying that now. And with the help of AI, we can be whoever we want to be online. Who you meet and interact with online, they might not be who they say they are at all. In fact, they might not even be a person. So we're not actually just citizens of a digital world, we're citizens of an age of digital disinformation. As consumers and daily users of this digital world of technology, I think we know what's at stake. But what about us as creators and designers of technology? What role do we play in this new world, in this new age of digital disinformation? Well, I think it's this. It's trust. We need to build trust in the technologies that we create. Trust needs to be this first-class citizen in our designs. How can we build technologies and products that foster genuine human care and interactions and truth? Whether your work is to deal with presenting listings to consumers or helping our customers with deep insights. Or maybe you work with data and pipelines like I do, ensuring that up-to-date information is made available to our consumers, to our customers, to the rest of the company, and to the world. As a developer, as an analyst, as a designer, a product manager, a team leader, that's up to you to decide. Because in a digital world where truth becomes the struggle, it's the products and the technologies that humans trust that will shine the most. Hey everybody, thanks for watching that and watching that till the end. That was actually a video I submitted for a tech conference for my work. They asked me to do a talk and I decided to cut up that video and submit that as my presentation. So that's why at the end there was sort of this application for tech and product people. But perhaps you're not a developer, you're not a product designer, and that's okay. Maybe you're a photographer or a videographer or a content creator or someone who uses and pushes things out on social media. I think it's still an interesting question as to the role that you play in this new world of digital disinformation. Obviously, I don't have all the answers, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and your questions down in the comments below. Also, I think I'd like to start pushing out more videos in the future, so let me know if there are any topics that you'd like to hear from me and maybe I can cover them in a future video. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye.